The gaming industry has been spoiled with blockbuster releases, the likes of Elden Ring, GTA 5 and Cyberpunk. These titles dominate every conversation. But what about the ones that you skipped? Games you barely heard about? In my book, these are must-plays, and they offer some of the most unique experiences compared to modern games. Let's jump right into it. First up is a chaotic masterpiece from Platinum Games, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. So 2013 gave us this over-the-top swordplay, hyped-up soundtrack, and boss fights that are still amongst the very best in the hack and slash world. Everyone talks about Metal Gear Solid, but Rising deserves more love. What made it stand out back then was the manual sword cutting mechanic. At a time when most action games relied on basic hack and slash combos, Rising lets you literally slice enemies, objects, and even giant mechs into hundreds of pieces with absolute precision. It was the kind of innovation that no one else was doing, and it still feels satisfying to this day. The animation quality remains super clean and stylish, even in 2025, alongside combat that feels just as sharp as it looks. The unique blocking system is also a highlight. It's a perfect example of how offense can also be your best defense. Once you master it, every successful deflect feels earned, turning fights into fast-paced duels rather than button-mashing chaos. And then there's the killer soundtrack that defines every fight encounter. They kick in at just the right moment, making every boss battle feel larger than life. And the bosses? Well, each one is distinct, not only in how the fight plays out, but also in the story they bring along with them. And the one that truly stands out above the rest is Senator Armstrong. His fight, his dialogue, his infamous speech are all ahead of their time. Goofy at moments, sure. But also sharp social commentary wrapped in the stereotype of an over-the-top American politician.
And from the ashes a new America will be born! Evolved but unchanged! The weak will be purged, and the strongest will thrive, free to live as they see fit. They'll make America great again!
Metal Gear Rising may have been overshadowed by the mainline Metal Gear Solid series, but if you want pure, stylish action that doesn't waste your time and still holds up in 2025, this is the one. Speaking of games with phenomenal soundtracks, our next game is Nier Replicant. Overshadowed by its sibling Nier Automata, Replicant delivers one of the most emotional stories in gaming, a haunting soundtrack, unconventional storytelling, and a unique take on combat, which simplifies things compared to similar genres. If you love Automata but skipped Replicant, you're pretty much missing half the picture. Similar to its predecessor, the music is very unique to this series. Some of the most powerful and emotional compositions ever made for a video game if you ask me. With tracks like Song of the Ancients and Kanye's Salvation, they don't just play out during a scene, they absolutely define it. In many cases, the music does more storytelling than the dialogue itself. The game is constantly shifting genres and mechanics. One moment you're in a hack and slash dungeon, and the next you're in a survival horror, a bullet hell shooter, or even a text-based sequence. This game is not afraid of changing things up. The story itself is brutal and deeply human. It explores themes of sacrifice, identity, and the fine line between what we call a human and what we'd call a monster. It's slower and more understated than Automata, but no less impactful. While the combat isn't as refined as its successor, it still has a stylish rhythm with its quick swordplay and magical abilities. Now, I'm assuming most of you have already played Nier Automata, and if you haven't, you 100% should. It's one of the best games of the last decade, and if it wasn't as big as it is, it would have topped this list. From one massive world to another, let's talk about No Man's Sky. When it launched back in 2016, it was one of the biggest disasters in gaming, overhyped, underdelivered, and roasted across the internet. For many years, this game's name was basically a meme. But here's the thing, Hello Games didn't give up. After many updates over the past 9 years, they rebuilt the game from the ground up. Base building, multiplayer, VR support, living ship expeditions, it's unrecognizable compared to the launch version. And all of it came as free updates. What makes it underrated is that a lot of players never gave it a second chance. They only remember the broken promises at launch and the bad reviews. But if you play No Man's Sky in 2025, you're stepping into one of the most ambitious space sims ever made. A galaxy to explore, planets to discover, and constant flow of content that puts many AAA titles to shame. I'm looking at you, Starfield. It's the definition of a redemption story, and proof that some of gaming's best experiences can come from the unlikeliest comebacks. Every once in a while, a game comes along that feels like it was made specifically for a certain generation of gamers. Tempest Rising is exactly that. A love letter to the golden age of real-time strategy, especially the Command & Conquer General series. Classic base building, resource management, and large-scale battles are all here, but with modern visuals and smoother controls. It doesn't try to reinvent the genre. Instead, it delivers what fans have been craving for over a decade, a return to the fundamentals of RTS. The truth is, RTS as a genre has been on life support for many years. Outside of StarCraft 2 and a few indie attempts, it's rare to see developers put serious effort into this style of game. That's why Tempest Rising is so exciting. It proves there is still a place for strategy games in today's industry. It may never get the mainstream attention of a shooter or an open-world RPG, but for strategy fans, this is one of the most underrated titles to look out for. It might just bring RTS back into the spotlight. As an absolute fanboy of the Command & Conquer series, I can tell you this game genuinely feels like a solid tie-back to those classics, built to carry on their legacy, and for that I am very grateful. Survival games are everywhere, but very few leave the kind of flashing impression that Subnautica does. Released in 2018, it dropped players into an alien ocean world. No guns, no hand-holding, just you, your tools, and the deep unknown. What makes Subnautica stand out is its atmosphere. The game balances beauty and terror better than almost anything else. One moment you're admiring colorful reefs, and the next you're diving into the black depths with only a flashlight, never knowing what might be waiting in the dark. And unlike many survival games that get bogged down with grinding, Subnautica keeps progression tight and meaningful. Every upgrade feels like a real step forward, from building your first base to crafting your vehicles, to daring expeditions deeper and deeper into the planet. And let me tell you, when I first jumped into Subnautica, I had no idea what the game was or what to expect, which made my first Leviathan encounter properly terrifying.
Detecting multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
Subnautica introduces horror in a very primal way. Danger lurks close but unseen. You hear a monster, but you're not sure where it is. This is fear done right.
Life form readings in this region are sparse.
What is that?
Subnautica may not have had the marketing push of a AAA title, but it delivers one of the most unique and immersive survival experiences ever made. If you skipped it, now's the time to get in, because Subnautica 2 is just around the corner. So there you have it, 5 underrated games that deserve way more attention, whether it's a redemption story, a forgotten classic, or a survival masterpiece. Each of these titles proves there's more to gaming than just the next big release. Which of these do you think deserves most love? And what hidden gems would you like to add to the list? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.